Welcome to our YouTube channel Mathematical Pathshala. In this lecture, we are going to discuss integral equation in complete solution of CSIR NET December 2016 examination. In that session, they have asked total 3 questions from this section. One was of 3 marks and rest 2 are of 4.75 marks. So the total weightage is 9.5 plus 3. So the total weightage is 12.5. And questions are quite from the basics. If you know the basic, then you can easily attempt the problems in your examination. But one problem or two problems are little lengthy. Okay, let us begin. Problem number 1. Let phi satisfy phi x is equal to fx plus integral 0 to x sine of x minus t phi t dt, then phi is given by. So they have given 4 options for this problem, and every option is very similar to this. So how can we proceed for the right answer? See, this is a Volterra integral equation. So you have 2 methods. Either you go with the Leibniz rule or you go with the Laplace transform. But this function is a known function. So let us go with the Volterra integral equation by using Newton-Leibniz formula. So you will have phi at 0, your value will be f at 0, phi dash at x will be f dash x plus integral 0 to x. If you differentiate partially with respect to x, then you are going to get cos of x minus t phi t dt, plus if you substitute x in place of t, then you will get sine 0, but sine 0 is 0. So there will be no term. So this is my phi dash of x. If you see phi dash at x or phi dash at 0, then you are going to get f dash at 0. Now phi double dash at x, you will be having f double dash x plus or minus integral 0 to x, because the differentiation of cos with respect to x is going to be minus of sine of x minus t phi t dt, plus if you substitute x in place of t, then you are going to get cos 0 and phi of x. But cos 0 is 1, so you will have only phi of x. Then you will have this one. Now this is my phi double dash. Can I put this value from this equation? Minus of 0 to x sine x minus t phi t dt, it will be fx minus phi x. So it will be f double dash x minus, okay, this is with the negative, so I'm writing in bracket. The positive value is phi x minus fx or plus fx minus phi x plus phi x, which is exactly same as f double dash x plus fx. So I am having at last phi double dash x is equal to f double dash x plus fx. So this is my equation. Now this similar procedure can you do in your every option? If you do in first option, you will get the answer. Okay, let us see how. I am removing this part. So this I got from this equation. Now if I see option A, my phi x will be fx plus integral 0 to x x minus t ft dt. Now if you differentiate phi dash at x, it will be f dash x plus integral 0 to x. If you differentiate with respect to x, then you will have only f of t dt. And at last, if you in the next step, if you put x in place of t, then you are going to get 0. So you will be having only this. Now, and you can write your initial conditions also. Phi dash at 0 will be f dash at 0, because this part will be 0 at point 0. So phi double dash will be f double dash x. If you differentiate this, then you are going to get only this term, because there is no term with x. So if you differentiate partially, you will get 0. Then you put your upper limit, then differentiate x, then you will get x, and lower limit if you put, then you will get 0. So you will be having phi double dash is equal to f double dash plus f, which is same as this. So these both are solution of this equation. So option A is the most appropriate one. Let's come to the problem number 2. Which of the following are the characteristic numbers and the corresponding eigenfunctions for the Fredholm homogeneous equation whose kernel is given by this? So we have a homogeneous Fredholm integral equation, lambda limit are fixed, so it is running from 0 to 1, kxt yt dt, where my kxt is defined in 2 slots, x plus 1 times t when 0 less than or equal to x less than or equal to t, and this is t plus 1 times x when t less than or equal to x less than or equal to 1. So such type of problems can be solved by using Leibniz formula easily, but they are little lengthy because here the kernel is in 2 slots. So if you observe, I can write my yx in this integral 0 to x. I am assuming my t is a variable in this. Here your x is a variable. So but I am changing my x and t. So I am assuming my t is variable and t is running from 0 to x. So when my t can run from 0 to x, if I change my x and t in this slot, then if I change here, then I have to change here. Then I will be having t plus 1 times x yt dt plus this is running from x to 1. My again t is running from x to 1, so I have to change my x and t. Similarly, I have to interchange x and t here, so I will be having x plus 1 times t yt dt. So this is my equation. Now let us write the initial condition. Y at 0, this slot will be 0 to 0, this will be 0, and this slot will be lambda time 0 to 1 t yt dt, and my y at 1 will be lambda time 0 to 1. If I put 1 in place of x, then I will be having t plus 1 yt dt. Now if I differentiate this by using Newton-Leibniz formula, then I am going to get lambda, this is 0 to x. If I differentiate with respect to x, then I am going to get t plus 1 yt dt plus, if I put t in if I put x in place of t, then I am going to get x plus 1 times x y of x plus integral x to 1. If I differentiate with respect to x partially, then I am going to get this is tx plus t. Okay, this is x का इस पूरे में मल्टीप्लाई करेंगे, देन अगला टर्म सारा t का होगा. So I will be having t times yt dt minus, if I put in x in place of t, because this is in the lower limit, so I have to take negative sign, then I will be having x plus 1 times x y of x. This will get cancelled out with this part. So I will be having lambda integral 0 to x t plus 1 yt dt plus integral x to 1 t yt dt. So I will be having this. Now let me write the initial condition and boundary condition. Y dash at 0, this slot will be 0 because integral from 0 to 0 will give me 0. So this is integral 0 to 1 yt dt. Now you can observe this is nothing but y at 0. So you are guessing what I am going to get. I am going to get periodic Sturm-Liouville system. Again, if you write y dash at 1, then I will be having integral 0 to 1, because this slot will be 0, so this slot will be 0 to 1 t plus 1 yt dt, and this is nothing but y at 1. So I have gotten a periodic boundary conditions. Now let me differentiate one more time. Y dash at x will be lambda, there is no term with x, so I will be having x plus 1 yx minus from here x, y, x. So x, y, x and x, y, x will cancel out. I will be having only y. So this is same as lambda times y. Now this y double dash is equal to lambda y. So I have gotten my Sturm-Liouville problem. So I am solving this problem. Y double dash plus lambda y is minus lambda y is equal to 0. With the conditions y at 0 is same as y dash at 0, y at 1 is same as y dash at 1. So I am removing everything except these boundary conditions. If I choose lambda to be 0, this will give me identically 0 solution. So this part I am leaving it to you because you can verify this. If lambda is 0, then your y will be c1x plus c2. Now you apply boundary condition and solve the constants. If your lambda is positive, then your lambda will be of the form say k square, where k is some non-zero real number. In this scenario, your solution will look like c1 e power kx plus c2 e power minus kx. Now apply the boundary conditions. Y at 0 is same as y dash at 0. This will give me y at 0 will give me c1 plus c2. Y dash at 0 will give me k times c1 minus k times c2. So this will give me this. Now if you solve this, y at 1 is same as y dash at 1. So you are going to get c1e plus c2 e power minus 1. Okay, y at 1, it is c e power k, c e power minus k is equal to y dash at 1. So you derive it, then you will have k times c1 e power k minus k times c2 e power minus k. So we are having these two equations. We can solve this equation easily. So what I can do this, so c1 e power k you do this, you take c1 common out, then I will be having 1 minus k times c1, okay, 1 minus k is equal to, your c2 is common out, so this is minus 1 minus k, and here if you take c1 common out, then I will have e power k minus k times e power k is same as, if you take c2 common out, then I will be having this is minus e power minus k and minus k times e power minus k. Okay, I can do more easy version. One minus k, or I write k minus 1 c1 is equal to c2 times 1 plus k, and e power k common out with the negative positive. This is k minus 1 c1 is same as c2 e power minus k, and this is 1 plus k. So I can put c2 times 1 plus k is same as c1 times k minus 1 from here. So I will be having e power k minus 1 c1 is same as e power minus k, this is k minus 1 c1. So I can take this common out, so I will be having e power k minus e power minus k k minus 1 c1 is 0. See, you can see this is 0 when k is 0, but I have assumed my k is non-zero, so this part cannot be 0. If I choose my c1 0, so I have two choices, either my k is 1 or c1 is 0, or both can happen. So you observe if I choose my k is equal to 1, then I am in a good condition because I have got my 1 eigenvalue. So if I choose k is 1, can you give me the corresponding eigenfunction? Because if you choose k to be 1 and choose c2 to be 0, then I will get y is equal to e power x. This is an eigenvalue, and I can choose my c1 as any arbitrary constant. So for the simplest case in your option, if you say option A, 1 comma e power x is the easiest case. This is just the observation based. I am not giving you the exact way. So I am just guessing. If I choose my k to be 1, then my c1 is arbitrary. I can choose my c1 to be 1. Then I will get this y is equal to e power x as a solution. And lambda is equal to 1 also. So this is the most appropriate, which is satisfying the option. So option A is the correct one. Now, what is the second case is remaining? If you choose lambda to be negative, that means lambda is k square, where k is some non-zero real number. So claim that you are going to get y is identically 0 from here. Or you have one more criteria to discard this. You observe this part. I am having y double dash is equal to lambda times y. If I multiply with y and I integrate from 0 to 1, so I will be getting is y double dash primitive will be y dash, y as it is limit r from 0 to 1 minus integral 0 to 1 इसका primitive y dash, इसका derivative y dash, so y dash square dx is same as lambda time 0 to 1 y square. Now we are having y at 0 is same as y dash at 0 and y at 1 is same as y dash at 1. So this will give me y dash at 1, y at 1 minus y dash at 0, y at 0. I know that y dash at 1 is same as y at 1. So this is, no, I am not getting anything from here. Okay, no conclusion from this section. Okay, leave this part. You just solve this. When your lambda is k square and k is a non-zero real number, then you will have y is equal to c1 cos kx plus c2 sin kx, and y at 0 is same as y dash at 0, y at 1 is same as y dash at 1. I think you can do this problem. Just claim that from this your y will be identically 0. So this part I am leaving it to you. Okay, 1 second. Let me verify. If I choose y at 0 is same as y dash at 0, then what I will have? I will have c1 cos k, c1, y at 0 will give me only c1. c1 is same as y dash at 0. If I take the derivative, then I will be having cos term here. So this is c2 times k, and y at 1 is same as y dash at 1. So y at 1 will be c1 cos k plus c2 sin k is same as, if I take derivative, k c1 minus sin k plus k c2 cos k. I will have this. So, and c1 is equal to k times c2. Okay, let us put c1 is equal to k times c2. So k c2 cos k plus c2 sin k minus k square c2 sin k plus k c2 cos k. So I can take k is common out, c2 is common out. I will be having cos k. Okay, this term will get cancelled out. This will get cancelled out. So I will be having c2 is common out, and I will be having sin k is common out, 1 minus k square is equal to 0. I will have this. Here either your c2 is 0, or see, if your c2 is 0, your C1 is also 0 because k is a non-zero real number. So if C2 is 0, then your C1 will be 0, or sin k will be 0, or k is equal to plus minus 1 if I am not committing any calculation mistake. If you choose C2 to be 0, your C1 will be 0, so this card we cannot take this. If your sin k is 0, then my k will be n pi, so my lambda will be n square pi square. If you observe option D, okay, here I have committed one mistake. If your lambda is negative, then it will be minus time k square, where k is a non-zero real number. So my lambda will be minus n square pi square. So if I choose my n to be 1, my lambda will be minus pi square. Then if I take this, then my solution will look like, solution is C1 cos kx plus C2 sin kx. So I have taken my k to be n pi. If I choose my n to be 1, my k will be pi. So this is C1 cos pi x plus C2 sin pi x. In place of C1, I can take k C2. So C2 is common, k is pi, so this is pi cos pi x plus sin pi x. So I will have this. If you see option D, if you choose C2 to be 1, then this is also possible. Option B and option C, you can feel these will not be possible because your k is with cos term, not with sin term. In option B and option C, in both term, your sin and sin is multiplied with pi. That cannot be happen here because I am having C1 is equal to k times C2. So D is again possible one. So if you choose lambda to be negative, then this is false. Sorry for the wrong comment. You will have option D is also possible. Question number 3. The integral equation phi x minus 2 by pi integral 0 to pi cos x plus t phi t dt is equal to fx has infinitely many solutions if. So we are having this phi x is equal to 2 by pi integral 0 to pi cos of x plus t phi t dt plus fx. It has infinitely many solution. So what we need for infinitely many solution? We know the system of equation, because if I solve this, I will get the system of linear equations, which is given by 1 minus lambda alpha 1 1 minus lambda alpha 1 2 minus lambda alpha 2 1 1 minus lambda alpha 2 2. This is C1 C2 is equal to beta 1 beta 2. For infinitely many solution, I need this matrix to be a singular matrix. And what is alpha 1 1 C1 beta 1, that I will write, don't worry. So for infinitely many solution, I need infinitely many C1 C2. And how I will get infinitely many C1 C2? Provided this matrix should be singular and rank of A should be same as rank of A coefficient matrix B. This is my B vector. Now let me write the lambda is 2 by pi. This is given. Alpha ij is given as integral 0 to pi git fjt dt, and my ci is given by integral 0 to pi git yt dt, or here I have phi, so I will use phi term. And my beta I is given by integral 0 to pi git ft dt. This is my f term. So these are my notations. Now what is my f1 and g1? We have given the kernel. This is cos of x plus t, can be written as cos x cos t minus sin x sin t. This is my f1, this is g1, this is f2, g2. f2 is negative sin x. So these are my notations for f1 and f2. I can write this matrix now and I can find this. So first I need this matrix to be a singular matrix. Otherwise I will have a unique solution, which is given by C1, C2 same as this inverse beta 1, beta 2. Now let me calculate this alpha 1, 1. I do not need to calculate C1, C2. Alpha 1, 1, 0 to pi. This will be G1 F1. My G1 is, so this will be cos square t dt, because my G1 is cos, F1 is cos. So if I solve this, then I will be having 2 times pi by 2 cos square t dt. You can solve this easily. 2 times, this is 2 minus 1, this is 2 into pi by 2. So I will be getting pi by 2. So this is my pi by 2. Alpha 1, 2 will be 0. Why? Because if I write this expression, integral 0 to pi, this is G1, G1 is cos t, and F2, my F2 is minus sin t, so minus sin t dt. I know cos t and sin t are orthogonal to each other with respect to the integral inner product. So I do not need to compute this. This will give me 0. Similar argument for alpha 2, 1 and alpha 2, 2. It will be, if you observe integral 0 to pi, alpha 2 is minus sin t, this is sin t dt. It will give me minus pi by 2. So I will have this. This you can easily observe. So I have computed this. I need to compute beta 1 and beta 2, but my beta 1 and beta 2 are depending over f. So you note this and let me go further. So my this A matrix is alpha 1, 1 is pi by 2, lambda is 2 by pi. So this will be 0. This is 0. This is 0. This is 1 minus lambda alpha 2, 2. Alpha 2, 2 is minus pi by 2. And this is 2 by pi. So it will give me 2. This is my A matrix. So this matrix is singular matrix. Now what I need this. If I need infinitely many solutions, I need the solution should exist at least. So rank of A should be same as rank of A coefficient matrix B. What is my B? This is my B vector. See, rank of A is fixed. This is fixed. This is 1. So I need this rank to be 1. That means if I add this B column, this B column should be linearly dependent to these two. That means if I have beta 1 is non-zero, then this B vector will be a non-zero, and this B vector will be linearly independent to these two, because there is no entry on the first part. So so what I need my beta 1 should be 0, because if my beta 1 is non-zero, rank of A coefficient matrix B will be 2. Then I will not have any solution for C1 and C2. So what I need beta 1 should be 0, and there is no restriction on beta 2. If your beta 2 is non-zero or 0, that will always be linearly dependent to this column. So if you add any linearly dependent column to this matrix, then rank will be unchanged. So I need beta 1 to be 0 for infinitely many solution. Now you observe beta 1 is given by integral 0 to pi. Beta 1 0 to pi G1, my G1 is this is cos t ft dt. And now you do not need to compute this thing, because you have to observe whether this function and this function both are orthogonal or not. If you see option A, fx is equal to cos x, then your ft will be cos x, cos t. So this will be cos square t. And if you integrate, you will not get 0. If you do not get 0, your this will not be 0. If this is not 0, rank of A coefficient matrix B will give you 2. So you cannot choose ft to be cos t for a infinitely many solution, because you will get no solution. So option A is not possible. Option B, fx is equal to cos 3x. By Fourier transformation and Fourier series, you know that cos t and cos 3t both are orthogonal to each other in the interval 0 to pi. So this you can observe. So option B is possible. Option C, if you choose ft to be sin x, then you know that cos t and sin t both are orthogonal with respect to the integral inner product. So this will give you infinitely many solution. Option D, fx is equal to sine 3x. If you choose sine 3x, then cos t and sine 3t will be orthogonal to each other, then this will give you 0. So beta 1 will be 0 in option B, C and D. Then you will have infinitely many solutions. So B, C, D are possible. A will not be possible because ft will be cos t, which will give you this beta 1 is a non-zero quantity, which we do not need. So the correct answer will be B, C and D. I hope you understand each and every problem. If you still have any doubt, you can ask in the comment section. You can do WhatsApp me also. And if you have any suggestion for us, you are always welcome. Thanks for watching this solution series.